So I'm going to spend the next 15 to 20 minutes talking to you about the India food service industry. We'll, of course, kick off with some key numbers, and then I'll talk to you about trends and growth drivers which is impacting this segment, right? So let's quickly jump into the numbers. So, just before the outbreak of the pandemic, the India food services stood at an approximate 55 billion USD. And of course, we all know that how the pandemic has impacted all consumer-facing services. However, this segment was most adversely impacted, and we saw a significant quantum loss in scale of nearly 40%. But just 2 years hence, thanks to the resilience and the agility with which the key stakeholders of the segment responded, currently we've bounced back and are at a 58 billion USD market. And what is very interesting is even the organized sector of the food services segment garnered market share back, and they gained back their market share, and we're currently at 47%, and this is only expected to grow to 53% contribution share over the next 3 years. And the 58 billion USD that we just spoke about is growing at a steady CAGR of 12% to reach a 78 to 80 billion addressable market that we all have an opportunity to tap into. Now, what I will do is I'll pick up that 47% of that 58 billion, which is a near, 35 billion USD, and talk to you about what is marking that share. So, of course, there are various segments that are defined, that take the play of the organized play in India. There's the casual dining restaurant, the QSRs, there are the cafes, the pub bar, and the club lounges. What is very interesting is the market has evolved and the segment has sharpened to give rise to newer segments such as the cloud kitchen, which wasn't present perhaps around 3 to 4 years ago. So the leading two segments of the organized pie, which is your casual dining restaurant and the QSR, present 70% of this 35 billion market that we're talking of today, which is the organized pie. And this will only grow further. It will continue to be this large segment of 80% of this pie, and will present an opportunity of approximately 33 billion over the next 3 years. The other segments that I mentioned, the cafes, the pubs, and the lounges, as well as the cloud kitchens, are going to be presenting another significant 8 billion USD and an opportunity, a sizable opportunity. And this is what will give rise to new business models, new formats, new cuisines, as well as innovative models of connecting for consumer connect, consumer engagement, and marketing. So all of this is going to gear up and drive this growth of this organized sector. While I have been speaking a lot of the organized sector, it's interesting to know that, as Anish was saying just a few minutes ago, it's not just these. While multinational market leaders have employed strategies of product innovation, mergers, and acquisitions, it's also independent restaurants, which we would otherwise typically call single chain, which also mark this entire food services play. And you can see that it is a sizable 32 billion USD market in the next 3 years. And those are also going to gear up with, more indigenous cuisines, and this is what is going to drive more of the unorganized shift to the organized for and bring in newer elements of food, mixing cuisines and ingredients, and this is only going to bring the opportunity and make the opportunity larger. I will talk to you, of course, of a few key drivers. We all do know that the increased frequency of dining out has increased. It did see a dip during the pandemic, but it's all come back to base, and we all see this trend continue to grow. It's also, what is interesting is there's a growing demand for diverse food varieties in cuisines. Today, Indians exhibit more adventurous eating habits and are enthusiastically exploring new flavors, notwithstanding, and whilst they even continue to enjoy their homegrown indigenous flavors. So the whole, all of it is coming together and is increasing the offering and the assortments and the plates, as we may, to the consumer, right? And this has been motivating, like I just said, both domestic and international food establishments to expand their reach, their offering, and their menus. Then, of course, there are the time-pressed schedules that we see. It's this that has led to the culture of takeaways, home deliveries. Formats have come up because of these. And also, in addition to this, while this has been happening, on the other side of the spectrum, we also see that there's greater retail space availability. The quality of real estate, the quality of, sorry, I should have been here, yeah. The quality of what you would call retail space availability is also increased. So the concept, newer concepts, more niche formats, more distinct offerings have come into play in this entire segment. And of course, the rising smartphone and internet penetration. The total addressable market has increased due to this easy access of smartphone handhelds that Indians have today. And also the UPI payments, the entire ecosystem of the digital has enabled and fueled growth within this food services segment too. I think I did speak to you about the growth of different formats. I'll just talk to you about what, just detail each of this a bit. So there's these emergence of hybrid formats, the distinct formats which are based on food services only is becoming lesser and lesser defined, with brands opting for multiple service models to attract consumers. As the consumer engagement, as consumers' eating habits, and how the day pans out for them, it's not any distinct particular, one second. Yeah, it's not a distinct format that a particular brand or a food service is catering to. They're adapting on the go, as in more consumers are changing their habits. And then, of course, there's the rise of the parallel delivery ecosystem. We see that while you have the Swiggies and the Zomatos, all the players are also leveraging their own consumer connects and their consumer insights to develop and wanting to have up close and more personal connect with the consumer, and hence are having their independent delivery systems. Then, of course, there's the surge of the cloud kitchen, right? We see with the advantage of the low initial investments and operating costs on the supply side, high profit margins, and also the relatively lower ASP, which is enabling younger working employees across and the younger workforce. All of this together on the demand and the supply side are leading to the growth of the cloud kitchen surge. And while we did see a lot of this even yesterday, where we've seen a lot, packaged food based on health, we see this even happening in the food services industries. You have formats such as Pita Pit and Greener, which are more focused on, salads or non-gluten and opportunities to offer healthy meals to meet the population and try and address, because the combination of eating out is also being addressed by this lever of the offering from the supply side to try and be more healthy and more and health a more enhanced life. And there's innovation-led cooking that's happening, right? Chefs aided by the advanced technology are creating exotic dishes. It's more like a mixology within food. We heard of it only in drinks till now, but that's what. And few formats that are doing, and some formats that mark this are the masala library kind of formats. And then there's the introduction of the DIY meal kits. We've heard of DIY kits and subscriptions and other formats which are more packaged food. But then this is coming now into play even with the food services. You have concepts that, introduce RTC, the ready-to-cook and the ready-to-eat packages of their signature dishes, and are making it available to consumers within the cozy environment of their homes. And of course, there's globalized product development that's happening. Successful international brands that forayed into India tend to adapt to the local preferences. We've seen that for a while, but this is increasingly continuing to happen, right? Yeah. And then, of course, an ongoing trend in the industry involves a shift emphasizing the overall experience and not just food. And this is what I dovetail with what I talked about, that while consumers are increasingly wanting to, food deliveries have increased, and consumers are wanting to engage within the environment of their own home, it's the new retail concepts that are also enabling the other side of the spectrum, which is concept-led experiential dining, which is leading to the segment and the entire organized pie getting more and more sharpened. There are concepts, while this is happening on one side of the spectrum, you have what you would call even pop-up restaurants where, the access to a consumer of a particular format the accessibility increases. The kiosks and the pop-up restaurants of otherwise very niche and fine dining restaurants are made accessible to consumers, and they're able to get a taste of and a flavor of that particular format, which is leading to and would lead them to engage with it further. Yeah. Of course, there are few challenges that mark the segment of the food services. We do see that while this is, we've been meeting folks over yesterday and today, and while there's packaged food is also gearing up in innovation, and we see tremendous product innovation and product diversification from their side and the competition of the ready-to-eat and the ready-to-cook across various ingredients, meals, and cuisines is being offered by packaged food companies. And then, of course, there's the rising cost of raw materials, and there's also seasonal shortages that fuel these food prices and the raw materials further, that also make it difficult for food services industries to try and keep the optimization on their cost and profitability. And the largest, one of the biggest challenges that mark this segment is the challenges in the supply chain efficiencies. Our businesses are frequently a counter in receiving products of the desired specifications from suppliers to be enabled to curate and put together the plate that they would desire to offer to their consumer. These deficiencies lead to increased wastage and affects also the quality. And so these are few of the challenges. While we have spoken of challenges, let's speak of some opportunities. So there are, of course, a wide variety of opportunities that we've just been speaking of, but I think one of the key ones that we would like to point out are the automation of seamless business operations. Major players in the food services are leveraging automation to enhance operational efficiency, service levels, consumer connect, enhance consumer engagement. And there's also optimization of menu services. At the heart of a QSR and the CDR offerings, which I did say mark 70% of our organized pie and a sizable 33 billion USD, there is outlets lies a focus on agility and lean operations. So the learnings from them are getting adopted, and consumers and players are looking at how they can combine both of these and couple both of them to get them together. And then, of course, there's innovative marketing campaigns. While the segment was not very high on engaging with consumer segment, but as it is evolving and as the entire pie is growing, the newer forms of engagement and the newer opportunities that and the diverse and the varied ways in which a consumer, the innovative messaging, the connect, and the outreach are phenomenal and yet there to be tapped and explored. Thank you for that, for your time, ladies and gentlemen. And we've got this entire article written out in the food services launch booklet images, and you're happy to, it's a good 6-page article, and it makes for a good read if you want to look into more details that we've put together there. Thank you.